Well, hi, it's Laura, and welcome to the channel. Well, it's the week before Christmas and all through the house. I hope you're ready for what's to come. And what better time than now to take a few minutes and make sure that you're mentally prepared for what's coming. Have you set your expectations in a reasonable place? Because let's face it, the holidays can be a slippery slope. And often we're the ones who set ourselves up for, not for failure, but for disappointment. You know, I always consider myself that father in the movie, The Christmas Story. I don't know what your favorite Christmas movie is, but I love that dad. I love that movie because he just believes in the purity of the season and that it'll be the highlight of his year and everything will be wonderful and all the planning and all the doing and the nonstop schedule. And I've shared with you recently how now that I actually have the time, I'm trying to slow it down a little and not lower my expectations. That's not what we're going to talk about today. We're just going to talk about being realistic. Does everything have to be decorated in the house? Do things have to go in a particular place? Do you have to do certain things at a certain time on a certain day and fill a half a dozen squares? You know, if you're like me, I've spent the last week, we were out on vacation. I hope you got a chance to see my videos as we took 10, 11 days to drive the Oregon coast and turn down every side streets. But that trip was a great reminder to me that life doesn't always need a plan. And sometimes the best experiences are the experiences that you didn't see coming. We turned down streets and ran into a huge herd of elk. We turned down streets and ended up at an incredible unmarked lookout point where you could just see for miles and enjoy the coastline on either side of you. And it's just that reminder that when we spend too much time and too much energy planning, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves and we don't even realize that we've done it. Well, I hope you'll take a chance to like and subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, I hope you'll drop a comment and share with the rest of our community. What are you doing to kind of keep your intentions and your expectations in check as you go through this next week and a half, 2 weeks? Now, I like to remind myself that the holidays are really only a short period of time during your year. And it is an emotional time. Like I mentioned earlier, it can be a slippery slope, especially when it comes to the expectations we have with our family and with our adult children. So let me share a quick story. We got back from vacation last Thursday. And about 3 weeks ago in one of my videos, I broke out the Martha Stewart Christmas book that I hadn't opened in about 8 years. And my favorite cookies, Martha Stewart sugar cookies, opened up the book to that page. And the page is a little tattered. It's got some wear and tear, some flour and sugar still on it, because for years I made dozens and dozens of Martha Stewart sugar cookies and invited friends over, family over. Of course, my children were here, and we spent hours decorating cookies in every color of imaginable royal icing and sprinkles, and made a huge mess. I remember putting newspaper out on the kitchen table when the kids were little, and we just have, I had such great memories of that. But I'll be honest, as the kids got older, It was hard to get it on the calendar. They had plans with their friends, things they wanted to do, other things, other places they wanted to go. As our family grew, everyone got older. Yeah, it just wasn't maybe something that was easy to plan anymore. And so I let it go. And I was sharing that I think it had been about 8 years, 9 years since I had opened up that old book and made those sugar cookies. But got home from vacation, super energized. And I said to myself, you know what? I said in my video that I was going to make sugar cookies this year. So I'm making sugar cookies. I spent a whole afternoon making dough, gingerbread, her chocolate pepper cookies, fabulous, and her sugar cookies. And I didn't overdo it. I used to triple, quadruple the recipe. This time I just doubled the recipes. I make the gingerbread for myself because it cuts up so nicely and I love to decorate them. Nobody likes to eat them and I think they end up drying out, but I think they're beautiful. So I made several dozen cookies and on Saturday morning, I got up and I thought, you know what, I'll spend today decorating. I'm going to keep it simple. I made some plain white royal icing. I had bought some sprinkles of various different colors and some colored sugar at the grocery store. And so I put it out on the kitchen counter and I went into the family room and sent a text to my 3 grown children. And I said, hey, I'm going to be decorating Christmas cookies today and finishing up baking. If you want to stop by, no schedule. You can either eat some, cut some out, bake some, or decorate some. Your choice or not. Well, it turned out to be a wonderful afternoon. I think my kids started showing up about 1:00. And yes, I'm very fortunate. My kids live fairly close, actually really close. And it just so happened they didn't have anything going on the Saturday afternoon and they all ended up coming over. We actually had a couple girlfriends came over and we spent the afternoon just having fun. And as a matter of fact, when I got the first text saying, oh, I'll be over in about an hour, I had to rush and clean off the kitchen table because I'd been working on Christmas ornaments the day before. And why bother cleaning up, right? Because I can just do my cookies on my kitchen counter. Well, I needed a place for everyone to sit and everyone to decorate. So it goes back to expectations. We ended up having a wonderful time. My next video, I'm going to share some video with you of our cookie decorating. I'll share some of our cookies with you. And I'm also going to share my Christmas tree. If you look at my community section, you'll see where I posted my ornaments that I made cross-stitched over the years. And so I'd love to share my Christmas tree with you. So we'll do that in a couple of days, right before the holidays. But this unplanned, and quite honestly, when I sent out the text, I told myself, the kids aren't going to be able to do this on such short notice. So make sure that there are no strings attached. Don't do the mom guilt, right? Don't be the dad on the Christmas Story. No expectations. I wanted them to know that I was making the cookies because I hadn't done it in so many years. But I didn't want them to show up at my house on Christmas Eve or maybe a couple days over Christmas and see the cookies and go, oh gosh, Mom, you should have told us. And I didn't want to plan something set because their schedules are always conflicting. And I knew somebody wouldn't be able to make it. So I reevaluated what my expectations were going to be even before I sent the text. And it ended up being so much fun, so casual. We made a huge mess. I didn't do all the multicolors of icing like I used to do when they were little because I just had what I had. So I threw it out on the table. They were doing Google searches, how to decorate cookies. They had tweezers and they were making lines of lights with colored sprinkles on their cookies. It ended up being a blast and it didn't matter that we didn't have, 15 different options to decorate the top of their cookies. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. But so much of the holidays are our expectations, the pressure we put on ourselves the desire to want things to be perfect, to want things to be nice. And when we do that, we are in fact putting pressure on the people that we love, the people that we're going to be spending time with over the holidays, right? Because if it's going to be a perfect event, a perfect day, a perfect lunch, a perfect coffee, whatever, they're going to have to do their part to make it perfect. And we have no control over them. We have no control over their schedules, where they're being pulled. If our children are grown and married, there are other families involved. Even if our children are grown and dating, there are other families involved. And we have to be cognizant of that, but it hurts because for so many years they were our kids and the holidays revolved around what happened in our house. So as I've gotten older, it's become part of the process to let go a little and understand that they're not my kids so much anymore, although they'll always be my kids, but they are young adults. And I know when I was in my late 20s and my 30s, I had different priorities than my parents. And it took quite a few years to kind of meld those priorities together. And I think that's where many of us are, is trying to make the holidays what we want them to be without putting our happiness, our desire for happiness, the results on another person. You've got to do special things for yourself. You have to make time for yourself. You have to cook for yourself. You have to be willing to bake cookies for yourself. Maybe buy yourself a nice little gift or make something nice for yourself. I've been busy cross-stitching ornaments for the last, almost 2 months now. Because when I look at my Christmas tree, I did that for myself. That I get great satisfaction out of enjoying that. So what in your life, challenge yourself this holiday season to not put your happiness on others, right? Because how do they know? How would they ever know how to do it exactly right to meet your expectations? Don't let yourself be let down. Make sure that you have a plan. Think about a way to do nice things for yourself along this next 7 days so that you have those quiet moments of reflection and those quiet moments to just sit by your tree, whether it's, a foot tall or, 7 or 8 feet tall, and enjoy the lights and enjoy the ornaments and enjoy the memories made over the years. Be careful with your expectations because they really are the bullseye on the target. And how often do we truly hit the bullseye? Be intentional about your source of happiness. Look inward first. And then I think anything that comes to you from other people will just be icing on the cake. Well, thanks for stopping by the channel. Again, I hope you'll subscribe and share with me what you're doing to help yourself get through this holiday season. Are you keeping your expectations where they need to be? Well, take care. And I look forward to sharing a little bit of my Christmas decorations and preparation and baking with you in a couple of days. Take care. Bye-bye.